Right, so we are going to get in here now. It's going to be Lijiang Tower, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Command Center to start things up here. On the red side, it's going to be Arc 69. In the blue, it's going to be Bird Noises. It's a throwback, and what a good time to have it here. Let's jump straight in. Jake's going to be on a Moira here this time, though.
A bit of a switch up, and I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Moira actually throughout this entire tournament. One thing that's been annoying me as well is, like, I was listening to the cast of Monty Doa, Achilles, and everyone else, and yeah, what was the pronunciation of the Kamehameha? Like, they were calling it something odd, something weird.
Like,
I don't know what they're saying, but it is the Kamehameha. It's a Kamehameha, actually, is the way you pronounce it.
That's so. Yeah, but that sounds weird.
Well, it's better than
it is what it is.
By the way, I prefer it. Anyway, fight started. Jake's already fallen to pieces, actually. Ozar at the very early stages on here. It's a wild charge from XQC off the point, but his opposite number in Super's already been taken down. Now the pressure forward from Arc 69 here. Looks like Bird Noises are in disarray. Losing Jake so early on, their healing was cut so low.
I'm a little bit surprised we're seeing Jake here on the Moira. Like, I know they were running it before, but I thought that was more like Jake, haha, try gay, think he could do. But for now, he's sticking with it. And one thing to note here is that you haven't seen the Moira players build up their ultimate really quickly, whether it's Custa or now Jake. He's already loaded for bear.
Super's already got this Earth Shatter ready and waiting. I mean, he's trying to bait them through, trying to get his team through it, but already Jake has fallen, and the Graviton is going to be committed. It has connected onto 3 targets, pulls them in. Do they have the damage? Super tries to go in with the Earth Shatter on the back. He brings down 2 players, at least making them hit the deck, but unfortunately, the kills are all translating to the side of Arc 69.
This will improve your condition.
Very interesting stuff where you saw, again, we've been seeing the Graviton get used with the Coalescence in a lot of these fights, and it's not a bad combo. It doesn't seem like it's enough to do it on its own, but any extra damage there seems to throw it over the top.
Yeah, I mean, the Coalescence was very well employed by Carl. I mean, he's obviously, you know, emerging as one of the top Moira players we've seen so far. It's probably no surprise to see him working on that one, but here, it's got to be a big combo. It's got to be the self-destruct. Oh, the shield placement was so good, though. Super, most of his team got knocked to the ground, but he was able to put the shield behind them and prevent them from getting taken down by that self-destruct. A good play, but it may not be enough because the damage has definitely been done, and the toll is rising for the side of a Bird Noises. You see Super getting pushed down by Zar. A lot of control. Avast gets caught up in a bear trap, and he's done.
I'd love to see them use the Nano Boost here onto Dante at least. He's got a lot of high energy. He's like 25% away from his graph. I mean, he might not even need it, actually. Just spam right clicks could probably be enough to bring him up.
Take a look at Bull. He has a Graviton set up right now, and it's going to be one of the main ways Bird Noises gets their way back into this fight. He's creeping to the back, flanking the Reinhardt, looking for the grab. He had an opportunity, but now he lets it go, and it was Eden! The Graviton is gone! It sucked right up!
Yep, but it's going to be a Graviton response here from Dante. That one is going to be much better. It's going to be a shutout by the looks of things here, as Bird Noises have struggled to make any inroads in this round. It's 1-0 already, and my god, Arc 69 are looking good.
That was ridiculous ult economy coming out for them as well. They were super efficient in basically just rotating what ultimates they needed to use between XQC as well, and rotating around the Earth Shatter and the Graviton surges. Yeah, that was
Mitch, that's you.
Pretty crazy stuff, to be honest.
The pause button. I think it's Control-Shift pause or equals. Something like that. But yeah, well, we get to the pause button. As they tell, quick tutorial in progress. I just want to note for Space, he ate that through the wall. He put it vaguely in the direction of the Zarya and actually ate it from the most awkward angle imaginable. So really cool stuff coming out there from Space. Yeah, Control-Shift equals. There we go.
God damn it.
I'm pausing. Pause.
You unpaused it. All right. Look, this is progress being made right now. You've added to your skill set here today.
I don't know when they're ever gonna need.
I'm a brain dead play-by-play caster. I've never had to do this ever.
How do you think Hex has felt like being under pressure from players for so long?
Oh, fam, I don't know what to say about that. Okay, we're good though. Like, the round didn't even start. It's fine, fam. Okay, so I think Train said, Train said he needed a pause. I actually don't know why that was that he needed it. But we're just gonna.
Did he say big pause?
Yeah. I don't know what big pause is.
What does big pause mean?
I'm not really sure.
Could it be saying a bit more over talk now for 10 minutes? Is that what it is?
I mean, we very well could be.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. We do have at least some. We do have some things to talk about. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing on the Hulktastic hashtag on Twitter. By the way, some really cool art and like a lot of people that have sort of shared some pictures and some of their moments with Hulk. It's great. yeah, I mean, let's get this trending, fam. This is fantastic. We've got a lot of people talking about this event, but also just talking about some memories with him. So it's kind of cool to have this repository of, you know, insights and stuff from people. So
really I do have a message that I wanted to share. I meant to share it a little bit earlier, but Rachel Seltzer could be here today, but she did want to pass along a message, and the message about Dennis was simply this, quote, "He is a kind of personality I was always hoping to meet in esports to help move the industry and spectacle further. Someone with a personality larger than life, who loved to interact with the fans. He would have been an icon in esports for years to come, and right now in Overwatch, he already is."
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's great. And you guys can be sure that, yeah, he'll be immortalized in Overwatch or in one way or another. We've got some more donations coming in. We got a great $50 donation. Unfortunately, I can't read the name because it's incredibly inappropriate, but thank you regardless for your donation as well. I mean, yeah, this is just great. I'm super stoked to see all this coming through.
We'll read out a few more of the Hulktastic tweets, the hashtag Hulktastic. If you guys at home watching, you want to say anything, you know, if Internet Hulk, whatever, if you were, you know, just admired him from a distance, or you met him, or you were a friend of him and you want to say something, you can put out a tweet and we'll try and read out as many of them as possible. But, you know, we got a tweet from here. Leonard here says, "The Hulktastic Cup is probably the most heartwarming thing I've seen in esports," which is a true testament, I think, towards the whole Overwatch community. We might be a new community, but it's lovely to see, I think, everyone coming together for this time at least. And another one as well, it's great to see that this community of Overwatch esports come together in such a difficult time in a short period since it became an esport. But to see this community all come together, remember the life of a true Overwatch legend is incredible. Hashtag Hulktastic.
I mean, there's so much here. It's yeah. It's really cool. So we'll try and pick out some of those and read them out for you guys as well, and keep submitting them, because again, this is like a memory box. It's like a time capsule. This is all up here on the internet, and it's kind of nice for us, for everyone that knew him, to go back over and this is a really great way to get a feel for how much he impacted people on a personal level. So a lot of people, even without personal relationships with Dennis, still felt his influence, and even through a lot of things like interviews and other content, and sort of seeing his action and knowing that he's a cornerstone of this community and helped build it up. And was there at the very beginning. Like at the very beginning, he was trying to make teams. He was trying to propel other people into that spotlight, and even his change in role on so many teams that he was on. I mean, we know that he actually was a Reaper player first, by the way. He played a lot of Reaper, played DPS early on. The first tournament I saw him was the one that Jason shared about, where he messaged just after this random tournament game telling us that he was going to be a top player and that we should look out for him. And obviously we didn't believe him, but that was the case. He played a lot of things, but obviously moving to Lucio on the Envious roster, and we talked about this so much because for him there was a lot of pride about what he did and what he was able to do, and being put on Lucio was tough for him, but he knew that was the best way that he could support his team. So
this reminds me of another Dennis story as we're about to get started here again, but as Bitch figures out pause key once more. But I remember Dennis went up to me, if you remember the Sydney group stage, and AKTM was doing really well for Japan. Dennis was just like, I wanted to scout him for my Overwatch team. I knew he was good before he came out here, and I wanted to make this guy a star because I knew he was really good. And Dennis had an eye for talent that very few people had, and it's part of why he was a part of the successful teams he was.
We're going to be back in again now. Sorry, I was busy telling my stories and people were like, unpause the lobby. So apologies for those that had to wait through that for me to just wax poetic for a moment. But point yet to be unlocked. It's obviously 1 point already in favor of Arc 69. They're going to come out with that Pharah Mercy combo. It's going to be Kareev and Xayah taken to the skies.
Already they get two pretty early picks off, and Bird Noise is going to be happy with this. But the Resurrect comes out. Kareev going to be finding XQC back alive, and now they want to try and retake the fight. Leaps onto the point, drops down the bubble, already doing a decent amount of damage. In fact, the Vass is going to be meeting his maker, and so is Rob420. Both the supports already taken out. Even though the point is in control for Bird Noises, not for much longer as Arc 69 are just running over them.
XQC got 2 kills off a suicide dive there, where normally that's a case where people would generally retreat, go back and go, all right, let's regroup. XQC goes, no, I got this. I can imagine his scream in my head as he just dives in, picks off 2, and now Arc 69 is in a much better spot as we look towards this next fight.
A huge turnaround after Bird Noises having control of the point early on. There's a pulse bomb here for Dante as well, so Bird Noises need to be very careful about grouping up in these close quarters. Dante gets the pulse bomb off, but it doesn't secure a kill. There was shielding involved there. I believe it was the Xayah of Volt keeping his team alive. But now Jake can come with attack, buys it, but Space is right up in his grill. Self-destruct is going to force him away. Coalescence comes across the fight, but Super's already down.
Force the positioning. XQC jumps into the backline, but again, that Coalescence is going to be finding a kill around. The barrage comes out from Zar, but not good enough. He ends up getting brought down almost immediately there from the Rockets, and off the back of that 5 down now from Bird Noises, Arc69 still in control of the point, and they build up a hefty bit of ult economy as well, as they've still got Custer holding onto that sound barrier and even the Primal Rage from XQC.
Arc69 approached that fight a very interesting way, where they kind of nullified Jake in the beginning, but didn't even bother killing him. They just went around and killed everyone but Jake, which, what does it do? It leaves Jake alone on an island at the very end, and, you know, it's a risky gambit because of how Jake can punish you, but in this case it works out. Now, though, for Bird Noises, really looking towards this Graviton here in this next fight. We'll see if Volt can pierce through.
Ooh, pulse bomb from Dante there as well. He actually catches Train out. The self-destruct does come through, but no chance for him to re-suit and get back up there for Bird Noises. Dante with 2 more kills. He's found both of the supports here. And again, this strategy, Bird Noises, of trying to make their way through the close quarters, the corridors on the left side of the point, has not been paying off.
Actually, it was a self-destruct that was put in by on the side of Bird Noises. They brought down Kariv, and that was actually pretty massive. In fact, taking away the Resurrect away meant that they're able to just really try and retake this point, but they still haven't managed to do it. The respawns come in from Arc69 and pretty much stopping any effort they can get in, and now we're seeing a last-ditch effort here with the Transcendence to try and force their way onto the point.
And that's forced out by time pressure right now. Bird Noises, they are out of time. Avast was trying to buy a little bit, but now he has fallen, so is Rob420. All supports are out of it, and XQC rolling his way along. Might be falling here, but the damage has been done. Vol, a Graviton he will never get to let loose, as what we're seeing here is Arc69 on the way to winning the second round and taking the map.
This has been awfully quick so far. We definitely expected much more competitive final between these two teams, especially with the way that they demonstrated their supremacy in their respective sides of the bracket. But impressive stuff from Dante there as well. He had an excellent match, obviously playing Zaya in that first round, and then the Tracer causing so many damn problems, especially for a team like Bird Noises who didn't want to take a fight in the open. And, you know, obviously going up against the composition they were dealing with the Pharah, that can be hard to do, but still punished heavily on that second round.
Good stuff all around. I mean, that was, like you said, it was rapid. That was a pretty quick game across the board, and it was a shutout on the initial round, and then, God almighty, the second round, it wasn't much better, but we're going to be moving into the next map now. Still deciding on what it is. Not sure what it's going to be just yet, but I imagine, I mean, a lot of teams been playing a lot of King's Row recently. I've been liking it. Actually, King's Row is my favorite map out of all of the Overwatch maps. Just mainly because it's.
Why would that be, Bren?
Not just because it's in the UK.
Reason?
Not just because it's in the UK, as you might expect, but it's because it's. I like it because it's kind of choke pointy. It forces a lot of heroes that not necessarily weren't in the meta. I guess with dive comp being played, you can still play Rhine sometimes on King's Row, and you see a lot of interesting compositions. It's also one of the more long-standing maps, so mainly for those reasons. But it's going to be Nepal as the next.
Yep, I'm ready to jump in. These guys are ready to go. So, yeah, so second map going to be Nepal here. I thought it was going to be King's Row. I think the team who said King's Row would be the second map were assuming they would lose the first one, but perhaps that just isn't the case now. So it is going to be Bird Noises choosing another control map, which I find quite interesting given the way that one went. But I mean, it's apples and oranges if you take Lijiang in Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. So guys, we're going to have another challenger here. I'm going to take a little bit of a step back for the second map and bring in the one and only hexagrams. And I get to focus on production, observing, and that sort of stuff. And the cameras get messed up again because cameras.
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to ZP. Obviously, he's had a lot of things to do behind the scenes today, not just dealing with lobbies, but also getting graphics and stuff working. So I'm very impressed with everyone. And I'll be honest with you, like me personally, I haven't been deeply involved in the organization for this. I wasn't really able to, commit to that time, especially with the news and stuff. So big thank you to you guys as well. Like everyone's made a team effort. I know we spent so much time patting each other on the backs here, but we'll get into the game very shortly. I know it's probably coming up like a broken record now.
If you go a little bit more, I think you'll finally get the nod at my back. It has been killing me the last few days. So, yeah, just a few more words.
You're so brilliant, ZP. You're so majestic.
Oh, thank
you. You're just so excellent at everything you do.
I think you got it. We're good.
All right, let's jump into Nepal, guys. It's going to be Shrine here. In the blue, it's going to be Bird Noises. In the red, it is going to be Arc69, and I'm sure we'll hear from Hex when he has joined us.
Yeah, well, for now, I guess I will be replaced with Hexagrabs. We're both from the Midwest. Both works out. Except I'm not an Eagles fan, God forbid. But this first fight is underway, and Za right now dominating the skies.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, they've already got the initial 2 picks. XQC and Dante are going to be falling almost immediately, but you know, Karivi can't actually get the Resurrect off at all because it's in far too much dangerous territory. I mean, they dived right deep behind the enemy lines and were ultimately punished for it, which means that it is going to be Bird Noises able to get that first Kappa pretty quickly. And they're not actually opting to run any of the new sports, no Moira, not even a Mercy. I guess this is the PTR, she has been nerfed quite significantly. Instead, just sticking to quite a traditional lineup of the Zenyatta and Lucio.
It's been all about the Tracers right now. I mean, Train had a fantastic first fight with about 3 kills, and Dante's able to fire back again early, but this is another fight where Train's got himself 2 kills. He finds the other Tracer. Zara has some space to room, but again, he doesn't have a lot of teammates up, and Vol has a lot of freedom to try and push him. A fun fact as well about Bird Noise is I think like 3 of their players were like D.Va mains at one point, so they have a lot of flexibility in that regard. That's why Train's able to, you know, flex off the pick, and Vol can pick up the D.Va for this map.
It's actually such an insane first round. It's gone so backwards and forwards. This fighting has not stopped in the slightest. And as you see, he leaps onto the back trying to bring down Rob 420, but there's a beautiful peel by Avast. He was there with the boot, managed to push him off, and still the point in control for Bird Noise is already 50% and counting. But the players are all up right now for Arc 69. They're still trying to fight it, but now they make the call to back off and reset finally. That was like a full, like 2 minutes of team fight that was kicking off there.
All right, Hex.
Yeah, I'm just trying to recover from ZP blasting my Philadelphia Eagles with such immense hubris as they're 8-1 in the. Yeah, well, I support a good team, so I wouldn't know what that's like.
All right, you know what?
You literally, like, every argument is invalid. Yeah, it's going to be the self-destruct from Vol here to catch Zara. I mean, again, he was already ulting, so he couldn't actually cancel that and try and break line of sight. He was just caught there. Double res, though. XQC and Zara are up, 2 very important players here on the side of Arc 69. A self-destruct thrown at the point, but the bubble's going to protect. Jake on the Genji, though, finds space with the Swift Strike. Rob 420 is going to go for the Transcendence on the point. It's really just XQC. Dante trying to flank around. Zara up in the air, but there's not a lot of, you know, real estate being owned at the moment by Arc 69. It's been all about Bird Noises. Huge turnaround, and now in the dying sector, they've got to go overtime 6 down.
Yeah, XQC forced to use his leap, trying to leap into the point, but unfortunately the bodies are basically just dropping all around him. You know, Zara manages to get the D-Mech onto Vol in the end. That's going to be removing away that defense matrix. A lot of damage from them, but still the point currently in control for Bird Noise. They're still desperately trying to fight it off of Avast. Gets the mid-air kill down to Zara, taking him out of the fight. Super as well following up. And now all they've got to do is focus down the last remaining targets. The overtime is going to start to burn down. Kusta will manage to tick the overtime just, but it's not enough, unfortunately. And round number 1 here of Nepal is going to go to Bird Noises.
So glad I get to watch this Bird Noises team, because I remember where they became LGE. Before that, briefly, there were Hammers Esports, and everyone mocked them for being this 4-tank one-trick, and then they just still crushed everyone for like 2 months. And a lot of people might remember those teams as like the Jake Show, which oftentimes they were, but I've always said that almost every member of this team is such a high-level player, and I still have my love affair with Train because his Tracers.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, Hex a bit of a Tracer fan himself, but I actually enjoyed watching this team playing the triple tank. The game was slower, you know, it was much more attrition-based, but I always felt like they had a good grasp of it. So, times have changed now, and so have team compositions. Custer now is going to be back on the Moira, which is good to see. And we're actually going to see the Junkrat Orisa Roadhog play coming out from the side of Arc 69 here. So super aggressive, obviously, with this double tank setup.
This is honestly actually filthy. I hate Orisa, well, playing into Orisa, I think, on this section, especially of Nepal, because you can use, you know, you can try and pull the enemies into the deep, dark abyss. Apparently, according to ZP's lore guide, it's where the gold of some weird Mandata
yeah.
stored. Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's coming to a bookstore near you, but first pick is already down as Jake will end up falling, and one of the star players for the Bird Noises roster still evened out. Kusta using his orb will find Rob 420. However, the point in control for Bird Noises. And they've got a very beefy composition, so they can afford to take a lot of forward positioning against this sort of composition that's being run.
It's the new Dan Brown novel, Searching for Mandata's Gold. They're going to make a Tom Hanks movie out of it.
Yeah, I'd pay to see that.
Well, you can see the fighting on the point here. Obviously, both teams are sporting these Orisa picks, so these shields are very crucial, but somehow Avast and Train caught off towards the side. XQC wanders too far ahead of his own shield and is actually taken down. So there's still point control being maintained here for Bird Noises, but Vol and Space are about to have a deathly dance over on the point. A lot happening on the side of the map here as well. Jake's being forced back, but now has the tactical visor here. And this is Space sheepishly having to back away, despite the fact that he had the whole hog. He knew he'd be cut down in a matter of seconds. So there's no protection, no shielding for even Space. There was no one there to cover them. XQC only just arrived at the fight to put his shield down, and already Arc69 had lost most of their core.
Oh, what a crazy team fight by Bird Noises. The fact that they recognized that they could actually still get a positioning on the point as well using the Orisa shields in the defense matrix. They just had Jake on the high ground just waiting behind, just literally pumping damage into them. Nobody to contest it. They're going to try and turn it around with the tire, the rip tire from Zar, but doesn't actually get anything. In fact, Dante uses his tactical visor, but again, he gets nothing at all as well because of Super using those Orisa shields to just keep his team nice and healthy.
And he lacked the sight lines in that sort of low building area. He couldn't really peek properly, and he was very susceptible to AoE damage like Jake's Helix Rocket. He goes down, and Jake's had a sick match so far as well. I mean, we saw him over at the World Cup. It was definitely a transcendent performance from him. And so far, he's still looking pretty good in a much more relaxed setting.
Sleep dart onto Jake. Oh my goodness, I don't believe it. XQC's just done the biggest beef I've ever seen. He tries to leap onto Jake. It gets beefed off the edge of the map. Oh no.
That was amazing from Avast. Fantastic. Obviously, the newest pickup for Boston Uprising as well, so keep an eye out for that, man. This is sick. It's all about Bird Noises on this map now. There is one player capturing the point. That's obviously Dante trying to keep things going. He actually managed to get the better of Avast, but the rest of Bird Noises are going to stand in the spawn door and make it very, very hard for reinforcements to arrive. Overtime now, no one's really going to be there, and we're going to have a third map here. How interesting is this? Two control maps, both going in completely opposite directions.
You could tell they were a lot more comfortable on the pole, 100% of the way. Well, pulling out the Orisa, especially for the Sanctum section towards the tail end of that. Jake, I feel like he, in particular, every time I've seen Jake pop off, it's usually been on the pole Sanctum. This is just my personal anecdotes, but I just remember there's clips of him just literally doing parkour all over the place, you know, dodging and juking death, and you know, as an outstanding player like him, they can tell that they were a lot more comfortable, at least for this control section, for this one control map, but you know, map number 3 is not going to be their decision, so where will they be taking it? That is the question. Are they saying Oasis? Really?
Yep, calling for Oasis. I guess, you know, for Arc69, it's like, this was a map, back in their Arc 6, they were very, very good at. Definitely one of their best, in my opinions. I remember one of the monthly melees we watched them take on, I think it was CLG, whose best map was also Oasis. We saw some really good close games from them, so yeah, we're going to have 3 control maps in this series, boys.
It was the Hydration versus battles in the air, because that's when I think CLG had Hydration.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good times, fam. That was a good time. So we're good to see this now come back. I don't really know if Bird Noises are going to, you know, be sporting a Pharah in this particular matchup. We know Jake can play it.
Well, it'd be Jake, yeah. Jake plays everything. I'm just all aboard the train. Choo-choo.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just to quickly note here, this is a little bit of rarity because this is a special tournament, but it's not 3 out of 5, it is 2 out of 3, so this will be the final map. We are settling it all on control, and Oasis will be where we find out who the winner will be.
Thank you, disembodied voice of ZT.
Disembodied.
Oh, it's fine. I didn't go back to camera anyways. We're all disembodied voices now.
That is true. That is true. No one can see any of us. We may as well be ghosts. But yeah, yes. We're good. Super is advising Arc69 that they probably don't want to run quad tank on this map. So, yeah, it's some friendly advice from across the Gulf. It's quite nice to see, even though I think the only team out of these 2 that would run quad tank would be Bird Noises. But thanks, Super.
I actually, I mean, I know you said earlier, Mitch, that you were a big fan of the triple tank meta. I wasn't a big fan at all. You know, I disliked it massively.
Okay, we had is an overstatement. I think I enjoyed some of the play around like the attrition concepts and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say that I loved it. No.
There have been worse metas. I don't know. As someone who casted no hero limit, I was fine with whatever meta we were getting at the time.
And then beta tournaments were just so crispy. Good times. So. Anyway, let's jump in, guys.
Double Tracer, double Winston, double Lucio. Top tier times.
Oh, the double Reaper, that was good. But no, only going to have 1 hero limit on this particular setting, guys. It was discussed earlier on whether we change it, but no, this is the way it's going to be. In the blue, it's going to be Bird Noises. In the red, it's going to be Arc69 already. So we do have Pharahs for both teams here. So Jake versus Zar for aerial supremacy.
I think when you look at this, it's going to be up to the Divas. You see Divas kill Pharah Mercy so often on this stage in particular, and Space and Bull are no slouches on those self-destructs.
Wow, Rob420 ends up going down pretty early on, actually. Taking your Mercy out of the fight, it means Jake's going to be a little bit less effective now, a lot less heals coming into them, and Dante finishes them off in the end. And Dante was actually the one to get the initial pick off as well in this round, but they just got to deal with Super now. He's the last man standing, or last monkey standing, I should say.
Hello.
Train tries to work his way onto the point, just recalling all over the place, just trying to stall it out for as long as he possibly can. But it will mean that R69 are going to get initial control here at the garden section.
Train has been running a riot again. I don't want to echo you guys too much, but that Tracer play on the ground has been fantastic. It's such a shame as well because he was potentially going to be representing Canada in the World Cup, and obviously his, the player playing instead of him was also entirely, adequate. We saw them make it all the way to the grand final, but man, this guy's giving us a show right now. Self-destruct down, doesn't connect with anyone. Zar finds a Vast though. There's 3v2 on the point right now, so the numbers favoring Bird Noises for the most part. Now the Primal Rage of XQC though, he's looking for Rob420 with this. He's trying to frag out with that ultimate, and he might have just cornered Rob420. Yeah, oh, there's no escape, or is there? He gets back over the point. No, just a quick tickle of the Tesla gun to get rid of that Mercy, but unfortunately, XQC putting so much of his attention and resources on dealing with the Mercy, the rest of his team crumbled.
Yeah, as much as XQC is, he's actually one of the better Winston players when it comes to trying to bring down the Mercy, because there's a lot of Winston players out there that don't know the nuances of his leaps and whatnot, and when to go for a short leap, big leap, whatever. He's one of the players who does know the nuances of it. He's actually one that does it particularly well, but unfortunately didn't help his team take it in the end. But they're going to try and initiate him, but that was a... Custer goes down before he can get the sound barrier off. He's lost it. That's gone to the wind, ladies and gentlemen, and still this fight will go their way regardless, as they do manage to get the kill. Just a little bit of luck going their side there. Still trying to basically even this one out in the end with the Primal Rage, but Super gets brought down momentarily, so still 42%.
XQC also one of those players, innovators of the Winston butt dive towards a Mercy. You don't want to get towards a Widow. You don't want to get headshot on the way in, so you just jump in backwards, land on her. It's got a lot of really good tips, and that's what makes a Team Old MVP.
It's quite funny. I mean, especially now with Winston used to have a huge head hitbox, right?
Yeah.
They fixed that up a little bit, so it's a little bit harder to get smashed. But again, same with D.Va. If you've got to charge straight at a Widowmaker, you can cut down pretty easily. There's a lot happening here, though. Sound barrier coming out here for Bird Noise. 2 kills for space. Avast and Super go down. Rob420 forced to try and res one of them up, but it's not going to be enough. It's a little bit too little, and it's far too late. Zar finds Jake and Rob420, so the Pharah dealing with the enemy, Pharah and Mercy on his own. Stunning stuff, of course. Kareem running support there, and we're at 80% for Arc69.
Yeah, ults-wise, I mean, what have they got to try and re-engage here? Jake's got a barrage, I guess. They got Train of his Pulse Bomb. It's really going to be paying a lot of attention to Train, who's just waiting, creeping, crawling onto the point. He's looking for an opportunity. If he can get even one pick off, it's going to be beautiful for them. They might just try and bait out that res and try and get a pick, but now the point's going to start to slowly get contested out still. Nice. Jake winning the currently air supremacy. Pops up the barrage. Tries to bring down Kareem, but...
Right on target. Damage boost engaged.
37% on clock here. So now it's a chance here for Bird Noises to make their run back, but they're going to be dealing with some ultimates coming online fairly soon from their opponents. I mean, Custer's not far from a sound barrier. Zar's also got a barrage not too far off. So it's going to be a little bit tricky for them to hold here. They did have to expend a couple of ultimates to win that fight. Now, Pulse Bomb getting dropped down as well. It does find its mark, but Super's able to shrug it off and continue to fight there. So Dante unsuccessful in that assassination of the large Simian Predator. However, XQC makes a Lucio pancake out of Avast, landing straight on top of him. Sound barrier coming up. Only of the 2 people, Custer doesn't get the sound barrier onto many members of his team at all, and that might actually cost them. Super finds space there with the Flying Fist of Fury. It's Primal Rage time as he drops to the point now back in normal form. Going to be Dante, knocked back, and Jake, point-blank range, feeds him a rocket and sends him packing. Already XQC's made his... When the res comes out, Dante's back on his feet. A key player for Arc69 now, able to continue to harass like a hornet. It's Avast trying to get away from him. A barrage coming in from Bizarre from good measure. He's found Vol and the suit he rode in on. Now it's 5-1, 99% on the clock as overtime ticks down, and Rob420, it's a desperate attempt to get on the point. There's no res going to be there, though, and that will be that wick burning down. First round here, going to Arc69.
Large Simian Predator. Definitely a Mitch Uber Leslie moment right there. Classic Mitch.
Yeah, I mean, Simians aren't normally predatory, but I'd like to think in this case, someone like Super on Winston probably is predatory.
I wouldn't like to meet him in an alley. I can tell you that one for free. It's I mean, Winston, you know, gives off vibes that he's quite a friendly guy, but, you know, if you think about it, in terms of monkeys, he's actually grotesquely larger than a normal monkey and gorilla. I honestly don't know where I'm going with this, but what I'm saying is...
Have you seen a gorilla in real life, bro? They're massive.
Yeah, Winston's bigger, bro. Have you seen Winston?
He's wearing a spacesuit, you nonce.
I don't care. Like, his head should give you enough metric to measure the rest of his body, you know? It's huge. He's a big guy. You can tell they've been doing some genetic modifications on him because he could tear anyone's bodies into two.
That's graphic as heck, but that's probably true. I don't know what about turning red and going insane makes him seem like a nice guy. But Winston, status unconfirmed. Both teams are bringing one in here, though. It's going to be Super, of course, and XQC battling it out again. Vol on the McCree. A switch up here. Quad DPS, no, triple DPS, sorry, for Bird Noises.
If you just only equip the Yeti skin, whatever Bren just said starts to make more sense.
There you go.
I'm trying to help you, dude.
Thank you. Anytime. Appreciate it anytime, Hex, but they're still going to try and take this. Remember, this is city center, you know, it's quite hard to try and actually wrangle control of this point. Super's going to try his best, though. He brings down space and eventually flipped over into the side of Bird Noises. Dante gets one last pick off there, at least. Might try and go for a second one with the Jake, but recalls away just in the nick of time. Bit of a reset now for Arc 69.
Rob 420 as well, obviously going to be, yeah, delivering healing in a rather grotesque format on that Moria, but it's been doing the job so far in this round. Custer and Creve, obviously Custer's playing a lot more Lucio in recent times, if you watch his stream, so he's feeling pretty good in a calling position on, I mean, that team must be so loud, they got so many calls, it's crazy, right? Custer and XQC on one team, that's Craig, isn't it?
I was talking to Timu at BlizzCon. I'm like, so you added Custa and XQC. He's like, and he just grins like ear to ear. He's so happy to be hanging out with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you have Custer at XQC and Mickey all on the same team. Like, the calling's going to be top notch. But and Harry Hook as well. Anyway, I digress. It's 44% on the point here, and so far it seems like Arc 69 are really struggling to get any form of control at this point. Rob 420 goes for a Coalescence, but is that an attempt at a flanking Coalescence? I'm not sure. However, the rest of Bird Noises is topped up on health, and they're able to come back and retake this point. So this might have been all for naught, and it is for Arc 69. They back away, they spend ultimates, and they don't get any time on the point.
The real breaking point there, I think, was what in God's green earth is happening over there. Jake gets the triple kill, quad kill with the tactical visor. What? I'm sorry, just chasing them deep into their spawn, but it was actually Dante earlier on in that previous team fight, ended up killing himself with his own pulse bomb, and really didn't help in the slightest winning out that subsequent team fight. But now they've pushed them back into their spawn. Bird Noises very, very close now to trying to clinching out the rounds and not going out too easily in this grand finals just for the time being. But one more attacking attempt available and 2 defensive support ults for Arc 69.
Well, they're going to have a crack at it here, so we'll see. Sound Barrier comes out first. That's Custer to let that one go. You can see Arc 69 getting very aggressive, but a self-destruct might be forcing people back at space to catch Rob 420. Mori didn't have the mobility in that case to get out with Fade. Perhaps it was on cooldown, and this looks to be a much more competitive fight from Arc 69. Super's down, Train still on the point, but Custer chases him, doggedly pursuing the Tracer down. And it will finally be a chance, a moment in the sun for Arc 69 here. 5% to 99.
Well, they finally figured out how to deal with all this triple DPS. You just dive on it as hard as humanly possible and kill the McCree before he can flashbang and get off on it. And that's why they're switching Vol from that McCree onto the D.Va now.
Are you getting off on it?
He's trying. You can see I've got his webcam up on my screen right now. He's making a go at it.
Just when I start thinking we're friends.
Oh, you assume too much, my friend. Anyway, Zao the Dragonblade finds a Vast, cuts him down fairly early on. Super had a Discord Orb, so it's very, very easy fodder for Space and Zao to combine with this damage. Another good response. Again, ultimates are not being frivolously employed in this fight. Bird Noises are attempting to draw some of those ultimates away from Arc 69, but it hasn't happened. Just the one. Just the Dragonblade was enough to get the job done. Dante has a Pulse Bomb, and Creve has still been holding onto his Transcendence.
I've actually been quite impressed with his patience in holding on to that one ability, because he knows how paramount it is that they hold on to it if they want any chance of winning this round. He's been very much patient, not really trying to expend it too early on. But now it is the time to strike for Bird Noises. They've got a few ults to lead this in with Rob 420. That Coalescence, a Vast, his own little Sambar as well. We're going to start to see you can group them up. Rotate around, or already the initiation comes in from Super straight onto the back lines. The dive is there. They need to get some kills off the back of it. However, they answered back with Curve's own Transcendence. Now we see the Pulse Bomb by Space, but not enough damage to deem suit him. In fact, it sends out the self-destruct as a result.
Yeah, it's going to be Jake with the Tactical Visor making things happen. Kareev still playing for the high ground, and XQC is just trying to stall right now. The stakes are high in this round. Of course, Arc69 very, very close to a victory, looking like they're going to be slowed down. Coalescence for Rob420. He's just going to put the beam up in Kareem's face, and it's going to be enough. He'll go down. And now it's going to be this trio here, Train, Rob420, and Avast to try and hold the point. But Zars back in, so is XQC. Now they need to about face and get the heck out of Dodge. The rest of Arc69 are back with a vengeance.
I don't know if Super meant to die there, but I think he just ended up suiciding into a car by accident. But still, the fight continues. The overtime burning up right now. Rob420 desperately trying to find his way onto the point. Trying to do a bit of damage. Train gets a crucial kill onto XQC. A second one onto Dante. He's popping off, but unfortunately brought down by Kareev using those Helix rockets. Self-destruct sent up. Bubble using by Super there as well. Still has a bit of a foothold onto this point for the time being. Desperately hunting for an opportunity here. Vol, one of the last man standing, just trying to keep it burning for the time being to get his team back on this point.
Volt desuited now, knocked straight on out. Avast is still up on his feet, but it's pretty much just him and no one else. Arc69 have turned it around. They've taken the series. They've taken the tournament. Arc69 have put Bird Noises to task, and they'll be the victors of the Hulk-tastic Cup.
Play of the game.
Great games, honestly. It's super interesting to see how Moira was played as well, all around. But I think Arc69, the team that most people anticipated to be the winners, I think, of the Hulk-tastic Cup, from what we saw. I mean, we were following them throughout the majority of the tournament, looking at the players on the roster as well. So
that play of the game was sick, by the way, because the D.Va was the last person to die. In fact, the last person to get even desuited. So Jake did all that damage with the potential of a defense matrix in play. That was really nice from him.
I mean, it's just fitting that a team centered around a Winston main is able to take the tournament.